Hey everybody, I am Paul Carboni. Sorry I couldn't make it to open house tonight. Had some plans that I was unable to rearrange, and so instead of getting me in person, you get the digital version of me. I am sure this video is going to be absolutely thrilling. Thank you so much for coming out. There are a few things that I do want to mention tonight. I hope that as you came in, an ambassador or somebody gave you this, the course syllabus. I am definitely not going to read it to you. You should know how to read if you have a kid who is a senior in high school. So you can look at this. If you have questions, feel free to email me. My email address is pcarboni@hoover.k12.al.us. There you go. There is also a K Carboni at Spain Park. Please make sure you send it to P Carboni. We don't like getting each other's emails. There are still a couple of things on the syllabus I do want to talk about, even though you could read it. The main things are calculators and the grading policy. Let's start with the grading policy. Most of the math teachers at Spain Park do their grades by categories, meaning the tests are worth like 75% of the final grade. Homework would be worth 10%, something along those lines. I don't do that in AP Calculus. Over the course of the year in AP Calculus, we only cover 7 chapters or units in AB and 8 in BC. That means 7 tests or 8 tests, depending on which AP class you are in. And if you only have that many tests, that means there will be a grading period where there is 1 test. It wouldn't really be fair for that 1 test to count for 75 or 80% of their final grade. So I do total points instead of categories. That means that at the end of the year, or at the end of the grading period, I simply divide the total points accumulated by the total points possible to get your total average. The other thing on the syllabus I wanted to talk about are calculators. We will be using this calculator in my class, or I should say this is the calculator I recommend. It is the TI Nspire CX-CAS. It's a really fancy calculator. Hey look, 3D. Whoa. I actually have a whole nother video for calculators alone, and I will link that video on my calendar or on my website, as well as this one. So if you do have questions about calculators, please just watch that. If you have more questions, email me and I will be happy to answer them. The other thing that I want to show you tonight and talk to you about is my website. So let's look at my website for a few minutes and I will show you how that works and all the tools that I have there for you and your son or daughter.
Okay, here we are on my website. And if you click on my name from the faculty list, this is the page it will take you to. On this page, you can find just general information about the classes. Here's some information about AP Calculus AB and BC. If you want to know the difference between those 2 courses, you can open up those 2 syllabi and see that in more detail. Or you could click on the AP Calculus topics outline right here. And this is really a list I use to make sure I cover all the topics. And everything in the AB column that has an X by it, those are things that I do not cover in AB. Those topics are BC specific, and I will not cover those. So if you're interested in the difference between AB and BC from a topic standpoint, you can look here. The general answer to the difference is that AB can get you credit for Calculus 1 in college. BC, if you do well enough on the AP exam, can get you credit for Calculus 1 and 2. The only other part of my website that I wanted to show you is my calendar, because that is where I give information to my students. Everything we do is on my calendar. So let's click on the AB calendar, for example. You can also see my regular calculus and the BC calendar here as well. But if you look at the AB calendar, you will see that everything we've done this year is on my website. So let's just say for whatever reason you wanted to look at last Tuesday on the 16th and see what we did in class. Well, if you click on it, you can see, zoom in for you, you can see that we did inverses in class. We finished up a worksheet that was actually handed out the day before, and homework is posted, and everything I give them in class will also be linked as a PDF on my website. So if anything gets lost, they could very easily go to my website and reprint it. The other advantage to this is if students are absent, regardless of the reason, whether it's excused or unexcused, they can always go to my website and find the information that they need. So they should never have to come to me to ask me what they missed in class. It's always going to be on my website, and I never take it down. So barring any technological disaster, things will always be on my website. for the whole year. If you want to be an overachiever, you could even go back to last year and see what we did last year. I don't know why you would want to do that. But there is my calendar. I basically wanted to make sure everybody was well aware of that. The other thing on my calendar that is very useful, that I think is useful, is these class notes. I do not use a whiteboard. I use a digital version of it. It's called a smartboard, and that allows me to save everything that I write as a PDF and load it onto my webpage. So here's the beginning of first period. That's what the one's for. And if you scroll down, you can actually see the actual problems we did in class. So again, if you are absent, this isn't really a substitute for being in class, but it certainly is better than nothing. You can come here and see exactly what we did in class and maybe be able to tie up any loose ends by reading this. If you keep scrolling, you'll eventually see here's where second period's notes begin. And so notes will always be available. I think this is a very good resource for students if they're absent, or even if they're present and they want to go back and kind of get a double dose of what we did in class. Maybe they zoned out for a few minutes in class, needed to go back and check some notes. This will always be on my website. So there is my calendar. Wanted to point that out to you. The other part of my website that would be useful is this one, which I have already talked about, where you can see the syllabus and any rules sheets or other notes sheets and stuff that may come in handy later on in the year.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much for paying attention or sleeping. I can't see you. I don't know what you're doing. The last thing is that if you are on social media and you would like to get some announcements from me on social media, I am on Twitter and Instagram. Those are the only two. And you can follow me at Math Gnome. There you go. That's me. I am the Math Gnome. I will send out announcements periodically. Sometimes things occur to me when I'm away from a computer and it's not convenient for me to edit my website. And in those rare occasions, I will send it out through Instagram and Twitter. Okay, that should be everything. I hope I covered everything that you expected to hear from a teacher. If not, and if you have questions, again, email me, pcarboni@hoover.k12.al.us. There you go. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.